My name is Sean Thomas, and I'm the author of Be More Today, a 40-day guide to a better version of you. As doctor of physical therapy, I've seen thousands of people do great things. They came to me with ailments, physical ailments, pain, issues, and they got through them, all because they decided in their mind they were going to do it. And I guarantee you, if you just trust the process and be persistent, you too can be the best version of you. Have you ever been out and about with nowhere to stash your keys and ID so you can be hands-free? Whether you're running errands, traveling, or hitting the trail, Spy Belt is the belt that goes where you go. Made with stretchable fabric and a low-profile design, Spy Belt is your perfect companion to keep your essentials secure without bouncing or chafing. Choose from several prints and colors in the original, a wider band in the Pro versions, or the newest Spy Belt, Whiteout, an all-white belt that is perfect for summer. Visit www.spybelt.com to get your Spy Belt today. Run smart, run free, run with Spy Belt. Don't let aches and pains hold you back from living your life. At JAG Physical Therapy, our experienced clinicians create a personalized treatment plan that fit each and every patient's needs uniquely. Whether it's recovering from an injury or enhancing your performance, we've got you covered. With over 150 locations throughout New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania, there is sure to be a JAG Physical Therapy location near you. Visit jagpt.com and book an appointment today to get back to the life you love. That's jagpt.com, jagpt.com.
Welcome to the Be More Today show. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our show today. Now, let's hear it from our host, Dr. Sean Thomas.
What's going on, folks? Your boy here, Dr. Sean Thomas, back in the building with the Be More Today show. We are back in the building, folks, and I have a show for you today. Season 6 continues with the Be More Today show, and we've been doing great things all year. Now in our 6th season, the show is now heard in 96 countries, over 75,000 downloads. Thanks to your love and support, this show continues to grow, and I salute everyone out there who's being more today. It does not go unnoticed. From, again, watching my first book, Be More Today, and my second book, Project More, it's been a blessing going out there and just showcasing ways to be more today in various platforms. Our Steps to Greatness Challenge continues, and the sign up for that actually is open up right now. Our Steps to Greatness Challenge starts again October 1st. So if you want to be out there getting your steps in, join us for that challenge at BeMoreToday.com for all things related to Be More Today. You will not be disappointed. Again, thank you to our sponsors, Spy Belt, JAG Physical Therapy, and our monthly patrons. I appreciate you all. And our quote for today is very simple as always. Running is the greatest metaphor for life because you get out of it what you put into it, by Oprah Winfrey. Now, folks, I'm not going to lie to you. I've done 9 marathons, and every time I run it, I am always thinking about the process and the challenges. But it's true. Running is a great metaphor for life. It gets you through so many things. And whatever you put into that thing, you do get out of it. You get stronger, you get faster, but you just build character, you build wisdom, you build knowledge, and your body gets stronger. And I just love New York City for the running community. The community right now is so strong. And I thought to myself, what's going on? I know we came out of COVID and things are going well because everyone's trying to get back into movement, but something about New York City has been great. And I was trying to figure out what that reason is. And I figured it out, folks. It's thanks to our good friend, Ted Metellus. Now, folks who don't know who Ted is, he became NYRR's Chief Event Production Officer and Race Director in November of 24. He was previously the Senior Vice President of Events and Race Directing for the TCS NYC Marathon in May of 22. And he has been doing so many great things for the community and for NYC. So, folks, I have him on the show today. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, pets included, please welcome to the stage our friend, our boy, and one of the main reasons why NYC is now off the charts when it comes to running, Ted Metellus. Ted, what is going on?
Sean, thank you so much. Quite the entrance. Hello to all the listeners and the viewers out there. It's an honor to be here. I know this has been a long time coming, scheduling wise, especially today, as it's been a pretty busy morning for me and the team, 75 days out upon the recording of this video of the 2025 TCS New York City Marathon. But happy to sit here chop it up with you a little bit, share a little bit about what we're doing at Roadrunners, what we do with the marathon, what we're doing in the running community, what we're seeing, the engagement of your incredible team that I see running all of our races and representing to the fullest throughout the 5 boroughs. So thank you.
No problem, Ted. And I appreciate you. And shout out to our boy Ishmael Torres for linking us up. Again, our Spartan Center Run Club has been out there, and we've been thankful to be a part of this great community that you've been spearheading for such a long time. It is really a blessing to see the community so vibrant right now. And I've seen you a couple of times, Ted. I see you at the races, at the Brooklyn Half, NYC Half. I see you out there and you're doing it, and I love your energy. I love your spirit of giving to the people, and the people love you. I got to say, from all the runners who are out here, we love Ted. It is what it is. You're the man. You become a pillar in the community. And I just want to say congrats for being such a great race director and for spearheading the best city in the world to go out there and to be more active in terms of running. So we salute you.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. I mean, here's the thing. It's not done alone. It's done with an incredible team and getting everybody on the same page and moving in the same direction. And they all ultimately want the same thing is no different than what you'll see with the runners out there. You know, you have thousands of different people with different walks of life, different experiences that are all there to experience a similar thing and ultimately want the same thing, you know, to safely cross that finish line together, to celebrate that accomplishment together. You know, you start off as strangers and you end as friends. So, you know, it's a team effort for sure. But I think you started off the video well, the interview well, the conversation well with about what you put in and is what you get out. I have a mantra: the energy you give is the energy you receive. And I hope to approach people with, you know, positive, welcoming, engaging energy, and then receiving that because they are giving that to the members of their community as well.
Absolutely. And I completely agree with that. And I guess it makes sense now, Ted. I know you are doing so many things for the roadrunner community, but I also know that you used to be a DJ back in the day. And just think about what DJs do, right? And I always wanted to be a DJ. I always wanted to be a DJ.
You still can.
It's
way easier now than it was back in the day with vinyl. Let me tell you.
That's true. That's true. It's super easy now. But I think about what DJs do, right? And you become the life of the party. You bring people together from various walks, people who have different dance styles, music styles, even taste in music. The DJ brings people together and makes that room a vibe, makes that place a community. And you're doing the same thing now in terms of the running community. You're bringing people together from various walks of life, beliefs, faiths, whatever, to come together to do one thing, to hit one goal. And I'm just curious, Ted, you know, just let the listeners know, what is it like the day in the life of the New York Roadrunners Chief Event Production Officer and Race Director? What are some of the things that you have to do that we don't see? It's some of the behind the scenes things that goes in the work of making sure that the runners can get what they have to get done.
Wow. Well, the big thing is I learned this back in '01 when I first came to Roadrunners, and I learned it really, really quickly standing at a race with my dear friend and colleague Jess Wolf, who brought me on board. And we got everything set up bright and early in the morning. You know, we're out there 2:33 a.m. We get everything built and set and ready to go for, you know, what would have been a, 8 a.m. start or something to that effect. And all the runners arrive. Everything is where they need it to be. They drop off their bags. They do all their prep. They show up, they line up, and they go. And then I was like, "Oof, all right, we're good." And she was like, "We're not good," you know, because there's still more steps in this process. So you always have to think 2 or 3 steps ahead in the process. And again, it's very, very similar to what runners are going through. So my day-to-day is the here and now, you know, making sure that meetings that we have set internally for the team are moving, answering the questions that are there, helping to clear a path, try to find the shortest distance between point A and point B, as far as navigating through obstacles, working with our city agency partners, working with our internal partners here with the different departments, but ultimately thinking about what needs to happen, you know, today to keep us moving ahead, but also this weekend's events. You know, we have multiple events happening this weekend. What's happened the following weekend's events? The planning, obviously, of the marathon is 75 days, but also thinking about the 2026 marathon, you know, thinking about the 2026 RBC Brooklyn Half and the 2026 United Airlines New York City Half Marathon. So it is multiple steps ahead while being present and engaging in what needs to happen right now. Big picture answer there.
Yeah.
But it's all about planning. It's all about logistics. It's all about getting things moving to ensure that we have safe and logistically sound events.
Yeah. Well, listen, I gotta say, I've been to many places. I run many, many races around the world, and the NYC Marathon is one of the most well-run races in the world. Even the regular NYC Roadrunner races that happen weekly, they are so well run. They are on time, executed properly. I mean, I've been places, Ted, and it's like, oh, this is crazy. So I love running NYC races. They are amazing, and the fact that it takes a team that's led by you and others to get these things done, I am just a proud member. And I guess my question for you now is, so much happens, but what's one of the hardest things in managing the boom now? Because you've seen people are running everywhere. Coming out of COVID-19, everyone and their mom is running, right? Everyone's out there doing whatever they want to do. The running boom has been crazy, especially in New York. Races selling out quick, and people are just trying to be a part of everything, every race, small races and large races. And I'm sure that's been challenging for you and your team. So what's one of the hardest things in managing the big running boom that we had now in NYC?
Well, it's what Sean, you hit it on the head. It's managing demand. That's one of the bigger challenges that we have here, and trying to find new and creative ways to continue to engage and inspire people in running. What has been amazing for us to do is really think creatively and collaboratively with our entire department. When you think about, how do we elevate our youth programming? How do we elevate our older adult programming and striders? How do we really amplify the programs that we have in Open Run, which is our free park runs? The fact that we launched a new offering called the Start Line Series in partnership with the Department of Transportation during Summer Streets, which is huge here in New York City, where they shut down miles and miles of major thoroughfare that runners, cyclists, walkers, people are taking advantage of, where we partnered with them to create ultimately a free race experience for people that have never ever run a Roadrunners race in Prospect Park or Central Park or out in Queens or any of the boroughs that we do road races and events in. For whatever reason, we are now bringing it to your community and to your neighborhood. So we did one in Queens. We'll be doing one in Brooklyn this coming weekend. And it is what you would see and experience at a road race. Sean, what you have seen and experienced at a road race, and thank you for the compliment of how well run and executed our events are. So when you show up, you'll be able to pick up your bib like you would have in any other race. There'll be the corrals, which is where you line up based on your pace. There'll be a proper start for you. The course will be well marked. There'll be marshals and support that's out there for you. And when you finish and cross that finish line, you'll be welcomed and celebrated, and then you'll get your post-race amenities there. So how do we continue to diversify our offerings and really create an opportunity for people to see more of these types of races is the answer to the challenge of how do you navigate demand. So we are going to continue to think along those paths of how we continue to create more offerings, create more engagement, create more community, create more impact through our events. And, that is one of the biggest challenges. I will say the other challenge, and it's always something that I always think about, and I have something on my wall, which is, knowns versus unknowns. You plan for the knowns, you prepare for the unknowns.
Mm-hmm.
So we, when you're talking about an organization that's been around since 1958, we have seen and experienced so much and watched the space in running grow, watch our city grow, watch the diversity of the runners grow. So we have a lot of the knowns in place, but then the unknowns, which are the weather and, what's going on in the world and so on and so forth, we have to be prepared for.
Yeah, that's a great answer, Ted. And I completely respect that and agree with that. And, I think about the running culture in New York City. As diverse as NYC is, it is the same thing when it comes to running. It's electric, it's diverse, it's vibrant. It's amazing. And, I've had a number of people on the show like Tiki Barber, who's run the marathon a number of times, and Mitch Silver, who was former Parks and Recreation Director. Mm-hmm. So, and even the other run club we had on here, like Forest Park and Teamwork and Black Men Run, everyone who comes on here says they love our community and they're excited for the future. Yes. And I'm just curious for you, as the running boom continues, as people continue to get more into running, as New York City continues to be more populated, what are some of the plans for NYRR expanding community-wise in the next, 3, 4, 5 years? Because my daughter, she runs in the small races, the kids races, and Ishmael's son too. We love the small races, the kids races. We love cheering them on. and they're going to become the future us, right? Running these races as
Yes,
well. So,
yes,
what
100%.
what are the plans moving forward for the future of road runners as we look for other runners who are going to be coming into our city?
Yeah, I mean, it continues along the path of what you just mentioned and what I talked about earlier, which is those additional offerings that are out there in this space. The youth races that you're talking about are our Rising New York Road Runners events. Those are all free offerings that are there for youth between the ages of 2 and 18. And they get a chance to really see and experience the road races and events there firsthand. And what's amazing, as you mentioned, and Ish and everyone else, is when their parents, loved ones, and family members are out there cheering them on as well. That's something that they'll hold on to for the rest of their lives. And what we have really made an investment in and working very closely with my dear colleague, Herman Martinez, who leads that team, is how do we continue to connect those offerings to the existing larger road races. So I'll use a perfect example. The New Balance Bronx 10 miler, a race that's very close to me. I'm a Bronx native, born and raised. That race is like a little tour of Ted, if you may want to say. I went to high school by the start line. I grew up along the route, the different neighborhoods that we lived in as a family throughout the years. I've run that race as well. That race has expanded now to not just an adult 10 miler, but now all three stages of the rising events as well that start right at the start line of that event. So now those young people get to run alongside the adults, similar to what you see and experience at the United Airlines New York City Half Marathon, similar to what you see and experience at the RBC Brooklyn Half Marathon, and looking at the other events and saying, how do we continue to expand the opportunities for multiple generations to come out and run is what you'll see at more of our races. We saw that in Harlem a couple of weeks ago, where we had, youth as young as 2-year-olds and seniors as old as 96 that were participating in that event in Harlem and really inspiring the community. So looking at ways to take what we have and make it better, take what we have and really expand the offerings. I also think that any organization should look at ways to continue to work with city agencies and partners like we did with the Department of Transportation with the Start Line series. How do we expand that from 2 boroughs to 5 boroughs? Working with the Parks Department and saying, okay, how are we able to activate programs like Open Run, which is our free park running programs, to more parks throughout the city? And yes, how do we look for more road races and events as well? Because the demand is there for folks. If there's a question about like where I see opportunity in the running community at large, both here in the New York tri-state area and globally, I would say education. People being more informed. The better informed you are, the better a participant you will be. And while I've seen the tremendous growth in run clubs and run crews that are getting people out there and preparing for, the TCS New York City Marathon, the Bank of America Chicago Marathon, the BMW Berlin Marathon, the Marine Corps Marathon. Like there's so many fall races that are happening. And people are out there training and getting ready for it. I thought about this a lot, where I could teach you how to drive, but do you know the rules of the road? Okay. Yeah. And I think that there's an opportunity for run clubs and crews to not only help people become better runners, or be able to run better, I should say, but also be better runners and be more conscious of what's going on out there, and how to be prepared leading into the events, your health, your wellness, if you have the means to go see a doctor and get checkups and things like that. If you have the means, again, being respectful of that, but also just basic things like bring the hydration with you. How do you slow down on the course? If you're going to your right side, raise your right hand, and that's almost like a signal light, if you're may. But education, I think, is definitely a huge path for people to be better participants and ultimately better runners.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I just wanted to say, it's funny you mentioned the rising stars. My daughter and Ishmael's son, Kanan and Sonali, they've been running since they were 2 years old. And they actually ran last year at the Bronx Rising Stars run, and they loved it. Oh, they loved it so much. And it's amazing to see the videos of them running when they were kids to when they're running now. I mean, they were so timid, they were so shy, they were so scared. And now it's like, oh, I'm just doing what I got to do. So exactly. I love all the programs. It really does showcase how we can grow as people, and how a community can grow also as human beings, just to support one another and get bigger and stronger. And you guys are doing a great job with that. And, I'm thinking about now there's so many people, right? There's so many runners of various ages, and you have a chance to really interact and touch so many people in various ways. if there was one message, Ted, that you want to share with every runner, young and old, about how they can support road runners in any
Oh,
way, what would that one message be?
wow, that is a brilliant question. And it's funny because I'm usually on the receiving end of like things that people need, and to be asked, how can the community be of service? I think, going back to my earlier statement about education, taking the time out to see the different offerings that New York Road Runners has, because you can literally have a generation of participants,
Mm-hmm.
children, your parents, your brothers, your sisters, your aunts and uncles can all come out there. When you start to see the different free offerings that we have as an organization and getting people out there to be a part of it and then amplify that, that's what we want folks to do. Bring your young people out there. If you're not a parent, bring your little brothers and little sisters, bring your niece and your nephew, have them come out there, register for the events and be a part of those experiences firsthand. And then they will see that magic. We have incredible programs like our Run for the Future program, which is we take 50 girls, 50 plus girls, high school age, that have never run a 5K in their lives. And we help train them to be able to run a 5K. But again, it's not just the running. It is, financial literacy. It
Mm-hmm.
is, mentorship, education about your health and your wellness, and being able to go on and partake in this event as a community of young ladies. And then what I love about this, and we firsthand in Harlem, because that's the event that hosts it, is when they all start together and they all finish together, Sean. They all wait for one another from the first to the final, similar like to what we do at the marathon, to all come in and they all finish together. And they participate in this first 5K, and then they turn around and become mentors years later. They come and do their first 5K, and then the next challenge is doing a 10K, a half marathon, a marathon, and it all started at the Run for the Future program. So programs like that are all part of how the community continue to grow. And I mean, another thing I went to last week, which was incredible, is we have a youth ambassadors program that's part of the Rising Your Career Runners program, where young people are able to become public speakers and presenters and whatnot. And they're there at the start of the marathon or the start of our other major events, or hosting and leading youth events. These are
Mm.
young people talking to their own peers.
Yeah.
And when you see that magic that's there and see where these young people go in the future, that all starts with that engagement from the community and that first step that the community needs to make.
Yeah, that's legacy in my mind, Ted. That's
For
legacy
sure.
beyond legacy. And, I think about New York City. I run New York City 4 times. I run 9 marathons total, but I've done New York City 4 times. And every time I've run it, it's been electric. It's always been something I learn something about myself in the process. And it's just really a blessing just to get through NYC. There is no other place with the energy and the people and the culture than that special day in November. And, as a kid, me and my dad used to watch the marathons forever. My dad never ran the marathons, but I never wanted to do it. And then once I got the first one done, I could never stop. So I know that we're days, 75, you have it on your backboard about days counting down to NYC. Why is this so important to you? I'm just curious why you have this passion for not just NYC, but for others to come together and run as a community. Why is this so important to you?
Wow. It's a blessing to be an opportunity to do this. And as a career, I've been in the endurance event space and the event space and the event production space for 26 years.
Hmm.
I've given half my life to this, producing events domestically and internationally, near and far. And there's always been a common line, whether it's, a local 5K, an Ironman distance event, an Ironman race, triathlons in the middle of Beijing, China, a marketing PR event, a video shoot, a food festival, music festival. They all have a similar DNA, and it's all about people coming together and experiencing a thing as a community.
Yeah.
And being a part of something like that is amazing. One of my older brothers is an architect, and he builds, he
Mhm.
designs, he creates. And in my own way, I'm an architect that's building, designing, and creating experience and bringing
Mhm.
people together as that. And being able to take what I have seen and learned and share it in other markets. Being a part of the Abbott World Marathon Majors, there are 6 other major marathons in the world. that we meet, we connect, we share, we innovate, we engage, and that's being of service that's there. And it's what fuels me when you see that. Again, from first to final, when I'm there to catch the elite athletes as they cross the finish line of the marathon with warm embrace and welcome. I'm doing that for the final athlete that's coming in at 10:30 at night at the Central Park as well. So I'm very, 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 very fortunate and blessed to be able to do what I do. It is hard work. It has been tremendous sacrifice, but it's no harder the work, Sean, that you've done in the 9 marathons that you've run, and it's no more the sacrifice that you and your listeners have done in a marathon. I was thinking about this yesterday on a small run. When you take the first step to saying, I'm going to run a marathon, you have to ask yourself, what am I giving up?
Mm-hmm.
What do I need to give up to make this happen? Okay, what does it need? What needs to change to facilitate this happening here? So, I've made some sacrifices, made some changes, did some things, and the fruit of all of that is being able to see the smiles on people's faces, the accomplishments that people get to have, and that universal fraternity that we all have of saying, I ran a marathon. And that fraternity gets even smaller to some degree when you think about, I've run the TCS New City Marathon. And no matter who you are, if you talk to somebody that's done that, you could talk about going over the Verrazano Bridge. You could talk about, running up 4th Avenue. You could talk about passing BAM. You could talk about going through Queens. You could talk about the Queensboro Bridge. You could talk about 1st Avenue and how much of a monster that is.
Yep.
You could talk about going up mile 21, 22 and the hills there, going through the Bronx, Madison Avenue Bridge,
Yep.
Harlem, coming through, going down into the park. Engineer's Gate, because you think it's over, but you're still climbing, you're still grinding, And I could say that not only as a producer of this event, but I've run the marathon twice myself, and I've been fortunate to have had an opportunity to experience, so I could speak it from experience as well. And, I close by saying, when you make that turn on Central Park South on 59th Street and you go up, all of those emotions that just come through. Because it's not just the emotions of the day. The day is the easy part.
Yeah.
It was, the 6 weeks, the 8 weeks, the months and months of planning and sacrifice and preparation to get you to that start line and then ultimately to that finish line. And then when you see people's emotions when they cross that finish line, it wasn't, again, the 26.2 miles. It was that June, July, August, September, October that led them to that. So it's a magical, magical thing. And it's, again, that thing that makes us as individuals come together as a community.
Yep. Ted, you got me excited. I'm not even running this year and I'm hype right now.
But you'll be out there cheering. You'll be out there supporting. You'll be out there showing love. And again, informing people of the experiences that you had and the teaching and the learnings that you've experienced that you could share firsthand, because those are golden jewels.
Yep, absolutely. We'll be at mile 7 every single year, and we'll be at the end cheering people on no matter what. We always do that. Who's running, we go to the end and cheer in Central Park. So it's an experience like none other. And I've run all the ones around the world except for Boston, but there's nothing like NYC. Nothing like NYC. Nice. The last question for you. Be More Today is a platform that we put out here to encourage others just to be more in general. You're embodying that in so many ways with what you've been doing with NYRR and other things in your life. When you hear the phrase "Be More Today," just in closing, what's that phrase mean to you?
It's a beautiful phrase, even if it's one thing. Even if it's one thing. I have a list on my phone, which is 5 things. Sometimes I call it 5 things. Sometimes I call it 5 things. But I always list that. And the goal is, it'd be amazing if I could knock out all those 5 things. But if I could at least do one thing, I'm good. I can move on to the next day. So, definitely being more today is being able to do at least that one thing that is creating some level of impact, either in your personal life or those around you.
Yeah, that's dope. Ted, I appreciate having you on the show, man. You made it from one for the books. And how can people get more involved with Road Runners? How can they go online to support you guys? What can they do to connect with you?
Wow. Best, simplest, quickest way is NYRR.org. That's NewYorkRoadrunners.org. Our website there to see the different programs, activities, events that we have to offer, different ways to get engaged and connected, because there's so much that we do near and far. I welcome folks to come out as you will be doing, Sean, and cheer the runners on and support the runners and welcome the runners because there's so much of it's such an amazing experience and you feed off of it as they're feeding off of you. But definitely go into New York Road Runners website, NYRR.org, to check out the different programs that we have, the events that we have, the races that we have for, everyone in the family from the youth to our seniors.
Awesome. Ted, I appreciate you on the show and I look forward to seeing you DJing at the Bronx 10 Mile this year. Let's make that happen.
I may have to try to see if I can get out there. It's RBC Brooklyn Half is the pre-party that we have is my opportunity to do amateur hour for a little while.
I saw you there. You rocked out.
Listen, I love it. And it's what you said best earlier. It's the universal engager. Throw some tunes on and everyone's gonna get moving and grooving and enjoying the vibe. So I gotta give a huge shout out to Charlie Dark, who's in the UK doing his thing. I know he was in the city this weekend. Unfortunately, I couldn't catch him do his magic. But when you're able to create an environment that is welcoming and supportive and inspiring and entertaining, then you're doing the good work.
Yeah, you can't lose like that. You can't lose like that. Thank you, Ted. I really appreciate you. You've been great this day. So have a great day.
Thank you so much. Peace and blessings to everyone.
Yes, sir. And folks, he said so many great things. You remember the quote from today? Running is the greatest metaphor for life because you get out of it what you put into it. By Oprah Winfrey. Ted said so many things, so many nuggets. Go out and support road runners. They're doing amazing things, not just in New York City, but across the world. Be a part, be a part, be a part. Let's continue to all be more today. We'll see you guys next time. Have a great day. Peace.